Bud na Thor Shil Yachad Nuwabakedi Waloi Maorwo, the pledge of the United Nuwabian Nation of Moors. Ama Kakdemu Sefunut Hade Gedash Manuf, as I stand beneath our sacred and holy flag. Kanderu Ruki Maul Te Kehikano, Ama Kashgeru Zitaur. I vow to be loyal, obedient as I watch it fly. Ru Ganunwu Shil Manut Naonut Faref Nawus Weloinut, to the laws of our Constitution that govern our nation. Ru Hare Sabu Kahmelu Tubusubhem, to this cause I hold my head up high. Akara Garur Kanteru Ruharus Hade Tahum, with pride I pledge to protect and defend. Kalu Akara Hare Walao Weloi Kalu Hanuf Hade Samur, all within this great nation, both family and friend. Ru Yankud Faref Karetkut Mu Adorhut Hagoyu, to ensure all has their equal rights. Ru Hare Sabu Kazur Gedu Atnachum, to this cause I will lay down my very life. Ama Kapdemu Tachuth Haresan Un Hade Gedash Danun, as I stand beneath this sacred and holy seal. Kanderu Nafusum Mewa Chelas Hade Kazut Menu Tiat Mewikanu Akara Khera. I vow myself loyal, sincere, and vow integrity with zeal.
So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to a black devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82 verse 6, I have said ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim.
I walked a long journey on the short path, grafted this non-mind, this mind expands math itself. Came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Drew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, respect and pay homage from the Nuwabian tribe. We hope to see you. We still kicking the flows, all the girls know. Just listen to show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half stepping to a greater direction.
I want to talk to y'all real quick, you know what I'm saying? Get personal and shit. Hard to play family, man. Hard to play. You don't even know where the family stand. Too many egos, too many voices that ain't reaching out to people. I'm at 64. I mean real blood. Pops ain't home, but if he still was, minus the allegations. I wish I knew if it was really true or fabrication. Some of your kids think you did it, got me looking at you strange. Like would they be the same if they ain't grow with the pain? I mean 200 kids you couldn't find a time for. Do you regret not making time for us? Still screaming free you. Unanswered questions got me wanting to go see you. I'm sure you was dealing with pressure just trying to be you. Heard your own son ratted on you to them people.
How could you rat on your father?
Even if you did it, the thought would've never passed me. That's if you asked me. Everybody out for self. Quicker to go to friends before I ask family for help. I'm tired of people asking me why Jacob don't help. I don't know. Damn. It feel like we drowning in quicksand. They throw more salt, I'm thinking they reaching for my hands. 500 acres, Egyptian theme on the land. Way too much power and to be a black man.
I'm talking to the Anunnaki. If it's with me, I'm talking with Dinky. You know what I'm saying? I'm on faith. But when it comes down to with Nuwabian, you say, listen, Nuwabian, let me teach you about Anunnaki. They want me to make God manifest for us so we will believe. That sounds very familiar, right? Yeah. They want everything. They don't want to put any trust in their leaders or their teachers. They want me to put everything on. Had I gave them everything the way it was coming to me, the devil would have long time, the reptilian shapeshifters would have long time saw where I was going and nipped it off. I had to put out sporadic. I had to jump from place to place. I had to jump from name to name. I had to jump from religion. And in each one, every time I gave you a little something more. Right. About the whole big picture, which we now come down and put. Now you're going to start seeing the whole picture come together as one thing, and you're going to see everything from day one, from the day one, from the day.
All right. This is Rit Nalej Radio with your host, Mohuta Hedokayu. Give yourself an applause for being here. And today we really gonna sound the alarm. Yeah, put the alarm on high. You know what I'm saying? Because I put out an audio only podcast. You know, Rit Nalej Radio, and it talked about brother Tupac Shakur. Tupac being the chairman of the new Black Panther Party, or the new Afrika Party. I don't know, but we about to watch it right here. Let's switch over the scene right here. Now, this is a documentary. It's called They Use Drugs as Weapons Against Us. And this is one of the most important documentaries, I think, of our time. Simply because it shows how the government works to control the population of the American people. They say we're free. I would question that. Definitely after watching this documentary by a European, Caucasian, British person. You know, he did a great job on this because this is information I had never heard before, prior to a year ago. So actually we're gonna cut the music there because this is very important. However, before we start, let's get the Nuwabic Day in. We're actually in year 84 now, and I've been so busy, and we missed the New Year, the Nuwabic New Year, which is about 4 days ago. So we're in the month of Atun, year 84, first month, first week. 5th day of Nudimud. And again, you can catch that at www.unnm.net. And please watch, subscribe, like the video. I don't say that a lot because I really don't care, but I do want to give people this information. So we're getting a lot more calls and a lot more, brother, I think his name is Neb. Hold on, let me get this to you guys. Hold up, because the brother sent me some books. Is this him right? No, that's another person. Dang, hold up. Let me get back to my personal Facebook account. So the brother's name on Facebook is Neb Reson Nupu. And I'm not sure his position on Dr. York or anything, but he did send me a lot of scrolls regarding the readings that we're going through. This is not one of the readings of the book that we're going through, that book being the 9 Ball. Sorry if I didn't mention that. So he sent me a lot of books dealing with like straight up just Nuwabu in the universe. That's what the 9 Ball mostly deals with, but it also deals with us as Moors, as Nuwabians, and how we're to use Nuwabu to increase our mind, our 9 mind, our faith. Faith is this English for mind. Mind is actually a Latin word. So he actually sent me like 7 books. So shout out to the brother. My bad. I haven't. Neb Reson, RESONNUPU, and hopefully he stands with Dr. York. I haven't found out his position yet, but he's been hearing the readings, and he figured we should have the book because after I read the book, I'm gonna present it, on here. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we're gonna do that. But anyway, before we get started, I wanted to say the date. Wanted to give the brother a shout out. Hatul, which is peace, and today is August 2nd, 2024. If you only go by Caucasian time. All right, so let's get started here, man, because it deals with the Black Panthers. Now, before I click this on, this deals with how the CIA and sometimes the FBI, they use drugs to control the population. Like the Beatles in the 60s, even this started in the 50s, counterculture, drugs, anti-government, which is cool to be anti-government if there's a real grassroots movement, but this ain't a grassroots movement. This is all plotted by the CIA. All right, so Tim Leary, remember that name. Let's go.
Their lives dosed on acid, while further stating that radicals should be dosing others. The Mellon Hitchcock-funded Brotherhood of Eternal Love flew Leary to Algeria. There, the Black Panthers' National Minister of Information, Eldridge Cleaver, had set up a Panther in Exile chapter. Cleaver had escaped near assassination and further persecution by staying in Algeria with his wife, National Panther spokesperson Kathleen Cleaver. Several New York Panther leaders, amongst many other Panthers, had joined him there. In deference to his solidarity with the Weather Underground, Eldridge Cleaver first welcomed Leary. Here's Cleaver before he took a more militant stance against Leary.
Now, these people who are walking around seeking freedom and liberation through drugs, I think they are illusionary allies, that they're not really helping us.
Now, that was Eldridge Cleaver, right? And his wife, they moved to Algeria to get away from the CIA. They tried, the CIA tried to assassinate the leaders of the Panthers. We all know that, right? If you don't know that, you're smoking too many freaking drugs, right? And just think about it today, as the Afar, I look at the world, and I look at, especially here in what they're calling United States, and our people who are entrapped in this beast, from Caucasoid colonists, from Britain, from England, drugs, they're the ones who brought in the drugs, right? Look at how it's affecting every neighborhood today. Not every neighborhood, but every Black ghetto, Hispanic ghetto, Asian ghetto in the United States today. Look how many drugs are floating around the neighborhood. They talking about LSD and cocaine. That's really nothing now. This fentanyl and heroin, and they got something stronger than fentanyl now. It's called like MX or something like that. I don't know. I'm not into drugs. I might have a beer once in a while. That's as far as I go. I know family members of mine who've loved drugs. My dad died from drug overdose. So my brother Lamont died of a drug overdose. His dad let him smoke cigarettes when he was like 2 years old. Them ghetto dudes in southern Arizona, man. Where my mama's from. So it's it's drugs is it's the number one killer of blacks and whites. Matter of fact, it's the number one killer of a lot of Caucasians, because Caucasians love drugs, and then black people want to be like Caucasians, so then black people are going to love drugs too. Same thing with the feminist movement, But anyway, feminist movement ain't got nothing to do with that, but just the way they manipulate women and the whole society in general is all done by the government, or sponsors, or the people that the government sponsors. So let's keep going.
Martin Lee reported how that quickly changed, and Cleaver soon put Leary under house arrest due to Leary having brought 20,000 hits of acid to Cleaver's Panther encampment. Cleaver spoke of LSD as part of a drug-induced totalitarianism and sent a message to acid-crazed youth that their God is dead as his mind is blown by acid, in referring to Leary. The Brotherhood of Eternal Love and the CIA helped get Leary out of Cleaver's house arrest and back to the U.S. Once there, Leary told the FBI the names and locations of various New York Weather Underground members, and they were arrested.
Don't follow leaders, words which have proved prophetic after today's revelations that Timothy Leary, guru of 60s counterculture, collaborated with the FBI and named names in the underground movement. Leary, who died 3 years ago, was famous for preaching anti-establishment slogans like turn on, tune in, and drop out. He could have added inform.
By this time, a man named Ronald Stark worked with the Mellon Hitchcock's Brotherhood of Eternal Love. High-level British police detective Dick Lee stories on several.
Now hold on, I don't want to get this. This is a great documentary, man. I want to get into where they talk about the pants. See, that's Fred Hampton. If y'all didn't know, that's Fred Hampton. Word. I know y'all like word. No cap, no cap. I don't even know what no cap means. I'm older, man. I don't know what that means. All right, let's go.
Much of it remains classified for national security reasons. The doorman at the Dakota that night was Jose Perdomo, a veteran of the CIA's botched Bay of Pigs invasion, a professional hitman who worked closely with convicted Watergate burglar Frank Sturgis on the CIA's payroll.
Power to the people, heard that before. Free Mumia Abu Jamal.
On a different domestic war front, U.S. intelligence used many tactics to accomplish their documented goal of neutralizing the Black Panthers, including murdering Los Angeles and Chicago Panther leaders. In murdering Chicago's Panther leader Fred Hampton, it came out in court that an undercover U.S. intelligence agent first drugged Hampton's drink before police shot an unconscious Hampton in his bed in a raid on his home.
Y'all remember that movie, The Black Messiah, or it came out about 2-3 years ago. It talked about the snitch that should burn in hell, who helped that informant that man just named in this movie. I forgot what his name was, but he helped the Chicago police murder Fred Hampton in his bed while he was drugged. So Fred Hampton didn't feel a thing when he went, and the dude who snitched on Fred Hampton, he committed suicide in the 90s, as he should. He should have committed suicide long ago, because the world don't need another snitch nigga snitching out of the black people. So it's good that he died. I mean, we should be tap dancing on his grave and pissing on his grave, because he's a disrespectful black piece of shit. He wasn't a Black Panther, he's a black piece of shit. And I'm going to say it right now. All right. So anyway, I want y'all to listen to this, because it's very important to see how the devil operates against God's children. You know, being melanated, being Moorish, God's children is us. So let's keep going.
The CIA had liaison projects with police forces all over the United States.
COINTELPRO was the code word for counterintelligence program, and it was a program that the FBI created in 1956 to go after the Communist Party with intentions of trying to neutralize the party, put it out of business.
In 1967, they start what became known as MH Chaos, a code word for illegal domestic operations within the United States.
You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder freedom fighting, and if you do, you come up with answers that don't answer, explanations that don't explain, you come up with conclusions that don't conclude.
Extraordinarily talented. 21 years old.
They always had local police departments do their dirty work, and they began to devise a scheme that culminated in his assassination while he was asleep, drugged by his security officer, who was also a police informant.
City police in Chicago murdered Fred Hampton.
In essence, was an assassination authorized by the FBI or sanctioned by the FBI.
The FBI is considered an attempt to try to smash the Black Panther Party. They stopped actually attacking us. Didn't mean they didn't have no covert crap going on.
Infiltration of cocaine into the Black Panther Party, its leadership, Huey P. Newton being the main target.
And every once in a while, I says, why are you snorting this cocaine? This ain't the thing.
I had clear impression that chemical warfare would be utilized against the Black Panther Party. We had taken a position in our rules against anyone shooting heroin and narcotics found would be immediately dismissed from the Black Panther Party because we essentially were.
Now imagine if we did that today, you know, take all the drug dealers, make them dump their stuff out in the neighborhood. But the thing is, black people don't control their own neighborhoods, you know, because they're black. You know, you're still property. You don't know who you are. You don't speak a language. You dress like Caucasians. You talk Caucasians. Except the problem is you're not Caucasian. So you're not going to get treated, even though you could try hard as heck to be a Caucasian, you'll never be one. And so you're second-class citizens. You have to feel bad and then join the black boule to make you feel like you're somebody. So if you can't beat them, I guess join them, right? But let's keep going.
Anti-drug in our operations.
Evidence also supports that U.S. intelligence used undercover agents such as professed undercover agent infiltrator Earl Anthony and Elaine Brown to hook National Black Panther co-founder Huey Newton on cocaine. L.A. Panther leader Geronimo Jijaga Pratt and National Panther leader Kathleen Cleaver identified Elaine Brown as a U.S. intelligence agent who also admittedly had top CIA undercover agent Jay Kennedy as her lifelong advisor. Pulitzer Prize-winning MLK biographer Dave Garrow said Jay Kennedy was a CIA informant, as confirmed by CIA documents on Kennedy. Brown sued Cleaver and Pratt for libel, but the suit was dismissed.
MKUltra was what you might call a research program by the CIA to determine if psychotropic drugs, mind-altering drugs, might be used for intelligence purposes, either for chemical warfare or the neutralization of targets.
See, you have to remember.
Okay, you also have to remember, in this same documentary, it talks about how the CIA, they've been in Afghanistan since the late 60s. CIA is the top drug dealing organization of the world. More than Pablo Escobar, more than Chapo Guzman, more than the Black Mafia, more than Frank Lucas. Matter of fact, Frank Lucas worked for the CIA. The CIA was helping Frank Lucas get the drugs out of Vietnam back to America to deal dope in your black ass neighborhood. Right? Nicky Barnes was a snitch. They're all snitches, bro. If you're dealing with drugs, you're dealing with the U.S. government and specifically the CIA. And once you don't play ball, they turn against you. Ask Freeway Ricky Ross. I don't know if Freeway Ricky Ross was an informant in the beginning when he built the drug empire. You know what I mean? But when he tried to go straight and he actually dipped back in, they had an informant waiting for him. They wanted to hit the brother with life, you know, but he was set up by the CIA with a Hispanic dude. I think he was a Colombian, but he was living in LA. So drugs is, this is why Dr. York say don't deal in drugs. Drugs is the destroyer. And it turns black people into niggas. You know, it turns you into a nigga when you're on drugs. You're dealing with drugs. It's terrible, bro. Stay away from the drugs. For everybody. Just stay away. Nothing can really happen. You know, and if you want to take drugs to heal yourself, then take a little bit, man. Take a little bit. Don't get high because you can't deal with life. You need to learn the rules of life then. You need to study life and its rules, not drugs. Drugs Drugs ain't gonna help you. It'll make you feel good for a second, and after that, you're gonna have a downer. So let's keep going here.
Remember, if you read some of the COINTELPRO documents, they had a psychological profile on Huey, on me, on Eldridge.
I had the distinct impression consistently from 1971 that Ms. Elaine Brown was a highly placed intelligence operative inside the Black Panther Party.
I think Elaine Brown came in through Earl Anthony, and she followed the same course.
Death to Elaine Brown. Death to Elaine Brown.
So devious type of activities. So I'm saying all this to say that they got involved with people and caused a lot of problems, but we was aware of it. We just wasn't aware of the extent that the LAPD, the federal government with its COINTEL, the CIA, FBI, we wasn't aware to the extent that these people were involved.
She acknowledges in her own words in her book, Taste of Power, that in fact she had been educated, groomed, taught at the hands of a longtime Central Intelligence Agency operative, J. Richard Kennedy.
So many party members literally have told me they believe this, that this woman was connected some kind of way and got step by step, piece by piece, got Huey hooked over into some notion that he could get more money behind the scene if he step by step methodologically demised the Black Panther Party.
John Stockwell, former station chief of the CIA in Angola, he said, well, I want to say this to you very clear. The Huey P. Newton that people see today is a direct result of operations run by the Central Intelligence Agency to ensure that he would turn out the way that he is.
Huey P. Newton was never the same.
Got no more blood to give me, y'all. Let go of Mutulu Shakur.
One-time Harlem Panther leader Afeni Shakur had moved in with Mutulu Shakur in the 1970s after she gave birth to future rap icon Tupac Shakur in 1971, seen here. Mutulu obtained a degree in acupuncture and was one of the first people using it to treat.
I think brother Mutulu Shakur, I think he died a couple years ago. But look how Mutulu raised Tupac, but that ain't Tupac's daddy. And Tupac's dad was living, and Afeni Shakur lied to Tupac for years and said he was dead, which is very sad. I don't like Afeni for that, but anyway, let's keep going.
Treat drug addicts as assistant director of Lincoln Detox in the Bronx. The city tried to close the clinic down in 1978 before someone killed its director, Richard Taft, and made the bizarre but seemingly symbolic move of inserting drugs under Taft's skin. They did a poor job with it as he died before the drugs could enter his bloodstream. Someone also used the same strategy to murder the clinic's lawyer, Stanley Cohen. Cohen had also been representing Black Panther Assata Shakur regarding a New Jersey shooting incident where Mutulu's brother, Black Liberation Army founder Zaid Shakur, was killed by police.
We went to interview Dr. Mutulu Shakur, who had cured thousands of drug addicts with the experimental treatment of acupuncture. We found him in an underground prison.
The Young Lords Party and the Black Panther Party wanted every municipal hospital that serviced the poor in New York to have an acupuncture experimental center inside of their drug program. And because we were the first, we became targets. 100 policemen came to the Bronx and arrested us and took us away from the center.
Activists linked to the Weather Underground, including Bernadine Dorn's sister Jennifer, and activists linked to the Puerto Rican version of the Panthers, the Young Lords, worked at Lincoln Detox. When New York City police actually blockaded Lincoln Detox, Mutulu Shakur and the rest of the staff were forced to work elsewhere. A group deemed the Multinational Task Force by some and the Revolutionary Armed Task Force by others decided to fund health care in the Bronx by expropriating money from banks. One of their armed robberies of a bank truck in 1981 led to the fatal shooting of a cop and a Brinks truck guard in Nyack, New York. A massive police sweep led to those caught at the scene, including Black Liberation Army members and Weather Underground members who were driving the getaway truck. Mutulu Shakur was falsely charged with masterminding the operation and went into hiding.
Power to the people, heard that before. Free Mumia Abu Jamal. Got no more blood to give. Hear me, y'all? Let go of Mutulu Shakur.
In 1986, after 5 years of being a fugitive, the acupuncturist and Republic of New Africa co-founder Mutulu Shakur was caught by the FBI. Shakur was not charged with direct involvement in the crime of bank robbery, but only conspiracy involvement in the crime, despite no physical evidence to support the claim. Mutulu was also charged with springing Assata Shakur from jail, after which she was granted political exile status in Cuba. Mutulu was convicted and sentenced to decades in prison where he remains, despite being scheduled for mandatory release in 2016. While Mutulu was in hiding in the early 1980s, his wife, Harlem Black Panther leader Afeni Shakur, struggled financially trying to raise her son Tupac and her daughter Sechua. A drug dealer, Kenneth Legg Saunders, entered Afeni's life and got her hooked on crack cocaine at this time.
I tried to forget all the pain, insane in the game. I tried to forget, trying to make a dollar bill out of some change.
Legg Saunders worked with Nicky Barnes, who was an assistant to one of the first black New York drug kingpins, Frank Matthews. Professor Clarence Lusane wrote that 9 people supplying drugs to Matthews had their drug importation charges dropped due to their CIA ties. The New York Times then called Matthews' successor, Nicky Barnes, Mr. Untouchable due to all his legal charges that were dismissed. This and other evidence supports that Saunders worked as part of a U.S. intelligence drug-dealing network that inserted him into Shakur's life to undermine her activist work. In the 1960s, Chicago gang leader Jose Cha-Cha Jimenez converted his Puerto Rican gang, the Young Lords, into activists. Jimenez was in recovery from a drug addiction. Jimenez shadowed Black Panther National co-founder Bobby Seale for a month to learn how to replicate some of the Panther programs for the Young Lords. Police began targeting the Young Lords, trying to frame them with drug possession charges. The Young Lords spread to many other cities, with the biggest chapter arising in New York.
The ghetto streets, everywhere is the same. I tried to forget all the ghetto BGs trying to make them a name.
In the 1970s, activists had helped end the Vietnam War, and U.S. intelligence shifted its attention from the Golden Triangle to other drug-producing regions, such as Latin America. The CIA had helped relocate thousands of Nazis after World War II. Some of the Nazi scientists brought to the U.S. continued their studies of psychedelic drugs as part of the MK Ultra program.
Okay, I thought they were going to talk about Tupac right there. I'm trying to skip the Pac. So, here we go. They talked about Kurt Cobain too, man. How they set him up. But let's get into Tupac. Here we go.
They continue up to the death of Kurt Cobain. Her legal immunity and other evidence suggests it did.
Raised in the ghetto off legal means. Fight to survive, head packed full of dreams. Ambition was a mission which way.
Evidence supports that in 1996, U.S. intelligence manipulated and murdered another musical icon, entertainment megastar Tupac Amaru Shakur. Before his early death at the age of 25, Tupac had produced enough songs for over a dozen CDs, had 5 albums which topped the Billboard sales charts, and had starred in 6 films. Mainstream media censored much of Tupac's history. For example, at the age of 18, Tupac headed the New African Panthers, which tried to replicate his mother's Black Panthers, and was active in 8 cities. Given that U.S. intelligence whistleblowers said their programs continued under different names, it's clear Tupac would have been targeted as a leftist black leader.
Now, we're speaking with Brother Tupac Shakur, who is the national chairman of the New African Panthers. My name is Bomani Bakari. The program is indeed Round Midnight.
I believe that the New African Panthers are about serious freedom, really reaching out.
Along with his mother, Afeni, many other former Black Panthers, including Watani Tayehimba, mentored Tupac throughout his life. Tayehimba was a co-founding national security director of the New African People's Organization, NAPO, and became Tupac's business manager. NAPO's national chairman, Chokwe Lumumba, became Tupac's national lawyer.
For the dreams, and a mission was a mission which way to move. I'm tired of hearing my mama sobbing, crying the blues. Went to school on high waters, were crossing the gang borders.
Between the time of Tupac's first and second solo CD release, Tupac and his imprisoned stepfather, Mutulu Shakur, devised their thug life plan for Tupac to develop a gangsta persona as part of a plan to appeal to gangs, then politicize them. This was part of Tupac's extended Panther family's work at getting the nation's largest warring gangs, the Bloods and the Crips, to call peace truces with each other and engage in leftist activism. The gang peace truces spread nationally, and Tupac directly aided them, helping bring together gang leaders at gang truce picnics. Tupac and Mutulu also developed a code of thug life to help decrease the damage gangs do to their communities. The Young Lords influenced New York's largest gangs, the Latin Kings, to drop drug dealing and become activists.
The Code of Thug Life is a revolutionary document. Go online and look at Tupac's Code of Thug Life. He began to broker the peace between these gangs. If gangs are allowed to flourish because they're doing the job of the oppressor and in terms of eliminating young black men, that's what neocolonialism is. I don't have to come in as the oppressor in my uniform, with my army, with my people who look different, and kill you and lock you up. What I can do is create a psychological climate of self-hatred. I can pour in the guns.
Wait a minute. All Nuwabians know what that is. That's the spell of Kingu. The spell of self-hatred, psychological program, magic, whatever you want to call it. That's the spell of Kingu. All Nuwabians should know what that is. You know, that's why Nuwabu, you know, is pretty much the answer for what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? But Tupac was mixed into all this, bro. Tupac was so much bigger than just rap. He was so much bigger than his rap. He used rap as a medium to express himself, express his views on the world and his own existence, and express the gay people in rap, right? Like Quincy Jones and, you know, all that. And Puff. He probably didn't know Puff was gay, but we all know Puff's gay now. And I hope he didn't touch Biggie, man. I'm going to be mad if Puff touched Big. That ain't cool. That ain't cool, man. And so this spell of self-hatred, it definitely is still going on to this day. So-called blacks have no idea who they are. They don't know why they're existing. They don't know what to do with their woman. They don't know what to do with their children. Because cultures usually have rules and standards and things like that. Things you can do and things you can't do. You just can't do whatever you want. And that's what black people think is freedom. You just I can do whatever I want. No, that's some Freemason crap. So let's keep going.
And pour in the drugs and step back and let you do it to yourselves. And nobody's seeing where it's really coming from. And so Fred Hampton got killed in Chicago for the same thing. He had taken the Young Lords, the toughest, best organized, largest street gang, Puerto Rican street gang in Chicago, and helped them become a revolutionary organization called the Young Lords Party.
Went to school on high waters, were crossing the gang borders, break dancing on the block just to cop a few quarters.
Catherine Austin Fitz, a Wall Street insider who had also worked as Assistant Secretary of Housing under the first President George Bush, detailed how vastly street drugs prop up various corporate stocks. She evolved politically and tried to expose this, such as in this article in Narco News, in which she details how several street-level drug dealers each make at least several $100s a day, 250 days a year, equaling a net of at least $100,000 a year for their supplier. Fitz said this money is laundered by establishments dealing in cash. These include restaurants and banks who hide the cash in their accounting ledgers as money received legitimately, and then return the money to the higher-level dealers in a way that makes their money appear legally earned. Fitz said that these banks and restaurant chains on the stock exchange increase their stock values by 20 to 30 times and turn a $100,000 profit into a $2 to $3 million profit of stock value. Thus, the radicalization of the 3,000-member Latin Kings alone cost the money launderers billions of dollars.
One of the ways that we've financed the growth of multinational corporations and big banks and the rise of the Dow Jones is by selling narcotics to our children. It's one of the most profitable businesses in America.
But then they want to arrest me and you if we go out and sell drugs. But it's all a trap, man. It's all an immoral, satanic, Freemason, because all these people are Masons. You know, CIA, they're all part of the Mason Brotherhood and probably other orders too. That the order allows them to behave in this satanic way. So, you know, at the end of the day, we up against a massive beast, y'all. We better come together or get destroyed. So I'd rather come together with a couple brothers. I'm not saying we're gonna attack the U.S. government. The U.S. government's dying anyway. The dollar's dying. They're losing. They've already lost influence over the world. Peace to the brothers in Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, Mali, Kenya, the rising against colonial powers in Kenya. I'm missing one, the Sahel region. I'm missing one. It's Mali, Burkina Faso, and there's 3 nations. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, we want to say peace to those brothers. We really salute what they're doing over there. That's true freedom. What the American Negro can learn from, because we got like fake freedom fighters over here. A lot of Moors joining like Freemasonry. Freemasonry ain't gonna help you be free, brother. So I'm not into Freemasonry. You know, I'm not into black people being in Freemasonry because we all know that Masonic lodges, the only real Masonic lodges are Caucasian lodges. Let me repeat that. The only real Masonic lodges are Caucasian lodges. Now, black people begged, like Prince Hall begged to be a Mason, and they gave it to him, but they only gave it to him like at 50%. You know what I mean? So Masonry is divided amongst racial lines, and all the Masons should just join the ancient Egyptian order, because that's based on you and your history, the history they want, but they can't have it because they don't have the right DNA, right? All right, so let's keep going. Listen to this woman talk about how multinational corporations get rich off of selling your black ass and your Puerto Rican Boricua ass, your Mexican ass, your poor white ass too, drugs, making them rich. Let's go.
And towards the end, we were discussing the fact that the Department of Justice estimates that the United States is the leader in laundering organized crime profits of about $500 billion to $1 trillion a year. So I asked the audience, what would happen if we stopped being the worldwide leader in laundering $500 billion to $1 trillion a year? And they said, well, you know, if we stopped, our mutual funds would go down in price, the stock market would crash.
President Bush, the former CIA director, had rallied massive federal forces against the gang truce movement, and researchers published evidence that police framed gang peace truce leaders, as this excerpt of Mike Davis's article in the New Left Review details. Congress had also formed a committee looking into the dangers of radical political rappers. The prison system transferred Mutulu Shakur into the country's most maximum security prison due to his influence through Tupac.
So they don't even want you having influence over your own people. Now look, because now why would they feel like or want you not to have unity with your own people, because they know that the black community, even right now, has no unity. They're self-destructive, and the government is in full control of niggas. Let me say that one more time. I know it's hard to hear, but I'm here to tell you the raw truth. Right now, as I speak, what day and time is it? What day and time is it? This is clear. August 2nd, Friday, 2024. The government is in 100% control of niggas in every ghetto in every state in this United States. They're in full control. You're under more slavery than there was back 200 years ago. And they don't even have to take care of you. They just give you a mortgage and let you stay in the projects. I guess in the projects they take care of you. You know, if that's, I guess we'll give them that one. We'll give the U.S. government that one. They are taking care of niggas. They're giving you the projects, you know, with rats and gang banging and rapes and shootings, and they taking real good care of you, real good care of you. Them Caucasians taking real good. Oh, and they let dope in there, and then they might arrest a nigga or two, or a spick or two, or a white nigga. They might arrest a couple of them. They will never take the drugs off the street. That's how they control you. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care about you. They'll make it look like a moral thing, like, yeah, we got this drug dealer off the street. But no, they're never going to take all the drugs off the street. The war on drugs, that's a joke. They lost the war on drugs, but they want to lose the war on drugs because they're winning. They're winning in the profit game. You know, they're making gains, money gains. So why would they want the money to stop flowing, especially if they don't even care whether you live or die? Your black existence is only to serve your white slave masters in the U.S. government, not even poor whites. This is the ones in the U.S. government or the black boule. You know, that's why the black boule feels like they're the leader of blacks, because they guard the interests of Caucasians, like your Jesse Jacksons, Al Sharptons, and the other sellout niggas out there. What's the brother's name? The Professor West, Cornell West. He's one of the biggest sellouts. Stephen Coakley already exposed him, and rest in peace, Stephen Coakley. You know they killed Coakley too, man. You know they killed Coakley too. So. And Coakley didn't have enough support like he should have. Y'all didn't give him enough money. He just want to go to work. You know, slaves just want to go to work. So go to work. Just go to work. Just go to work. Black people just go to work. And then you wonder why they say black people have no culture.
Several attempts were made on Tupac's life, including 2 allegedly off-duty Atlanta police officers using a gun stolen from an evidence room to...
Now, hold up. You see, it says, because I remember, Tupac had this on against the World, Me Against the World album in the beginning, in the intro. Remember, they took some audio clips from news reports about Tupac getting in shootouts, Tupac getting shot. That's because they was trying to kill Tupac, man. But Tupac, I don't think he ever talked about it. Well, he did, but like the dude said in this, the guy shooting this documentary, they suppressed his language. He talked about Jay-Z being a snitch. Y'all heard it with Haitian Jack. Haitian Jack worked with the feds. Now you gotta ask yourself a question. Why would the feds send Haitian Jack to try to set up Pac? Ask yourself that. And look, this is in Georgia with these 2 off-duty cops. Now, how did Tupac know that they off-duty? He don't know that. All he knows is these 2 white niggas is trying to shoot him, trying to kill him. Why? Why are you trying to kill Pac? Black people gotta wake up. Gotta wake up, man. Gotta wake up. And look, Tupac's first court charged with while both were accused of using the word niggers in their police report. So that's what they think about black people. That's what the cops think about black people. You're a nigger. You're a second-class nigger. You don't even deserve second-class citizenship, especially in Georgia. Till this day, didn't they kill the brother Marbury just running through a white neighborhood? Some white boys thought they could just kill him. And that was in 2022. And then you got reports in 2019, 18. You know, they hung black people in Indiana. Y'all know that, right? They was hanging black people in 2018, 19. I may not have the year correct there. But they were hanging so-called black people in Indiana because black people don't know who they are. If you knew who you were, you would unify against your enemy. But you're too busy yelling multiculturalism. Well, that's good for people who have a culture, but black people don't have a culture. So how are you going to join multiculturalism? You're always going to end up at the bottom. And that's what we see today by natural nature. Black people at the bottom. Nuwabians, not the same, but we're the same race of people, whether we call ourselves Moors. We would never call ourselves blacks because black is just a color and black means slavery, right? Nigga, Negro, colored, and black. So let's keep going here.
To shoot at him. Much evidence supports that Haitian Jacques Agnant was an undercover police agent, including a long rap sheet of charges that were all dismissed. Agnant set up Tupac's sexual liaison with Ayanna Jackson, where she accused him of forced sex on her second sexual encounter with him. Police erased taped evidence helping exonerate Tupac. While Tupac was found not guilty of all major charges, a jury did find him guilty of touching her butt against her will after consensual sex. For that,
now how you gonna charge me for touching her butt after I just hit it? Shit, we could all go to prison for this, y'all. We could all all men could go to prison for this. You know what I'm saying? If the girl goes crazy, loses her mind, after I just hit it and I slapped her on her booty, she gonna go run to the cops and say, oh, he touched my booty. And I go to prison? See, that's why I don't date a woman if I'm not 100% in control. And when I say 100% in control, that I'm the leader of the household. If she want to be the leader, then she need to go find another household with a beta male and go boss him around. See, I'm not going to have it because my life is at risk of this crap. You know what I'm saying? Getting set up and all that. I'm not with it. If I'm not 100% in control, I'm not saying I'm going to enslave my lady. I'm not saying she can't go out and earn $1 billion. But when she come home, I'm running things. I'm protecting her. I'm making sure things go right. And I always have her best interest because I got the family's best interest at hands according to the family guide. You know, the Nuwabian family guide. But this stuff right here just proves that we don't have no control over our women. That's what other races and nationalities say too about blacks. Y'all don't have no control of your women. Your women going out here on OnlyFans is giving it up. I'm not saying that Caucasian women don't do it, but they don't do it nearly as much as black girls because black girls will try to emulate Caucasian girls. Of course, Caucasian girls are the only ones with a little bit of culture. Well, blacks have none. Okay, let's go.
a judge gave Tupac a sentence of up to 4 years in prison while awaiting appeal in December of 1994. U.S. intelligence appeared to take a greater role in manipulating Tupac during his 11 months in jail and 11 months out. First, they practiced penal coercion on him, which involved extreme psychological manipulation techniques. They coupled this with COINTELPRO tactics to instigate the East Coast versus West Coast rap war between Tupac and his rapper friend Biggie Smalls.
Now, can you believe that? See, I didn't know that before watching this. They started the East Coast, West Coast beef. The CIA government did this, man. It had nothing to do with brothers in New York versus brothers in Cali. Nothing. It had to do with government intervention into your black ass hip hop life. That's why Tupac had to come out and say it ain't about East versus West. It's about riders versus punks and, you know, all the other stuff that he said. He had to come out and publicly say it because the CIA program, which is a variation of COINTELPRO, you know, he had to address this nationally because he knew everybody was listening. You know what I mean? But I didn't know this was shocking to me that the CIA was going this deep on the Black Panther Party, any remnants of the Black Panther Party today. And the Black Panther Party today is probably so manipulated by the government, you can't even really call them the Black Panther Party. You know what I mean? So.
And they coerced him to join the music label Death Row Records while still in jail.
Lady Justice is blind, can't see our pain. Ain't do a damn thing when my brother was slain.
Death Row had dozens of police officers working at all levels of their company, particularly Reggie Wright Jr., whose father, Reggie Wright Sr., headed the Compton area's police gang division. When investigating, police detective Russell Poole asked about the purpose of the police officers in Death Row Records. His superior said they could be considered covert agents. Police reports stated that Death Row trafficked drugs and guns, but were never charged. Death Row employees said Knight tried to end the gang peace truce, and evidence supports Death Row aided the murder of Tupac. Death Row also produced the most negative Tupac songs, which promoted weed and alcohol, while also exacerbating the East versus West rap war. Georgetown law professor Michelle Alexander wrote The New Jim Crow about how U.S. intelligence has contributed to the mass incarceration of blacks through long jail sentences for nonviolent drug offenses, such as marijuana possession.
Hey, but you got to give it up to Jay-Z. He said, y'all gave us drugs, turned around and investigated us, right? And that's what's happening. They let the drugs into the hood, directly or indirectly, so they know that black people are dealing drugs in their neighborhood. Then sometimes the police will go over and investigate, cruise around on the beat. Sometimes they're not even tripping. You can still, in Chicago, let me tell y'all this. I went to Chicago last year, and I went to a bar in Chicago. Yes, I did. And right out, and the police were outside and down. There was prostitution right in front of the police. Right in front of the police, there was prostitution. There was also people selling drugs right in front of the police in Chicago. Right in front of the police in Chi-Town. So that don't sound like the police are trying to stop drugs, you know. And in a lot of towns across the United States, they let the drugs get sold. Now, if they think you're getting too big or you're not paying the police off, that's when they arrest you. That's when they arrest you. Or if the public starts crying, oh, you know, there's too many drug dealers, then for political reasons, the police will go over there and start, arresting folks, giving them light jail sentences, you know. But honestly, you got to start policing your own neighborhoods. You can't wait for these Caucasians to police a black neighborhood. Are you crazy? Niggas better wake up.
Following are excerpts from the award-winning filmmaker Nick Broomfield's movie Biggie and Tupac. Broomfield presented Detective Poole's press conference about his superiors blocking his investigation, as well as his beliefs that his fellow cops aided in Tupac and Biggie's murders. Detective Poole had presented reports on Death Row's drug trafficking. He also cited the police officers in Death Row, including its security director, former cop Reggie Wright Jr., whose father headed a police gang division.
I provided the chief with enough information and evidence that would warrant a full probe, and at that meeting I was ordered not to investigate any further.
Ex-Detective Poole resigned after 18 years on the force when he was prevented from investigating fellow police officers whom he believed to be involved in the murders of Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur.
Because it was no secret that Death Row Records was involved in drug trafficking.
Between 30 and 40 police officers, some of whom are seen here, worked off duty for Death Row. This is Reggie Wright Sr., Chief Gangs Officer. I'm dealing with this man, Reggie Jr., seen here second left, who's been running Death Row since Suge Knight's been in prison.
And how the hell it happened, man, I can't explain, so I'ma wipe away the tears, take over the game.
By the summer of 1996, Tupac said he fulfilled his Death Row Records contract and started his own record label. euthanasia, with its logo seen here on his medallion. Tupac had further majorly decreased his drinking and weed smoking, as noted here by rap mogul Russell Simmons, and he got engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter, Kidada. A death row guard, Kevin Hackey, who was also working for the FBI, apparently turned on the FBI when he warned Tupac not to attend a Mike Tyson boxing match on September 7, 1996 in Las Vegas. Death row fired Hackey immediately after they learned about the warning.
So Tupac was just surrounded by black devils, you know. So the FBI and the LAPD is letting death row deal drugs in the black neighborhood, probably. And probably sold it to some rich Caucasians too, or just Caucasians in general. And they let it go on. And niggas is cool with it, man. Just the niggas destroying niggas. That's why I said the sellout nigga, and all them death row people is sellout niggas. They're all sellouts. I don't care how hard they are on the street. They're all sellouts to their own people and deserve no respect. The only person that deserves respect in this situation is Tupac. You know, he tried to get away from death row. The slave master didn't like it. Let's go.
Tupac went to Las Vegas and was shot in a drive-by incident after the fight. Hackey said he had documents to prove the FBI were in Tupac's motorcade and watched when a car pulled up to Tupac's in Las Vegas and fatally shot him. Filmmaker Broomfield reported on U.S. congressional concerns about radical political rap several years before Tupac's death, and on Hackey's statements that the FBI at least watched Tupac's murder.
In 1993, a Senate Select Committee was set up to look into the hip-hop movement. Fear of its inflammatory qualities led to FBI surveillance. Hackey just informed us he was working as an undercover FBI agent a year before Tupac was killed. According to Hackey, FBI agents and ATN agents were in cars just behind Tupac on the night he was shot.
Former New York Black Panther 21 trial target Jamal Joseph eventually became chairman of the Columbia University Film Department while staying close with Afeni and Tupac Shakur. Joseph described his belief that Suge Knight and others at death row influenced Tupac to start smoking weed again. They appeared to do this for U.S. intelligence to both manipulate Tupac and then take him down when he was leaving death row records to become a more sober and positive leader.
He also talked about the fact that he was going to stop getting high. And I know that, when he got out, that when he got into the car on the way to the airport, Suge Knight was like, man, here, have a drink. Here's a blunt. Now, right away, it's manipulation and a different agenda. And so I think that there are people, Suge Knight and other people, that took those things and just go like, okay, we don't want him thinking clearly. But yes, I think he was targeted because he was a Shakur and because they know connected with that name was not just the legacy, but the activism and the ability to organize millions.
Starting around the mid-1990s, U.S. intelligence appeared to push another drug, MDMA or ecstasy. MDMA's precursor drug, MDA, had been used in the CIA's MK-Ultra experiments. Many studies conducted in various countries revealed that ecstasy led to memory loss, with even infrequent usage. The apartheid South African government appeared to use ecstasy as a weapon against its black citizens. The assistant to the head of South Africa's Chemical and Biological Warfare Program said his boss, Walter Basson, directed him to manufacture a ton of ecstasy. The post-apartheid government charged Basson with selling 1,000 hits of ecstasy in South African black neighborhoods. Investigators found that Basson's ecstasy trafficking went well beyond South Africa as he collaborated with military chemical warfare centers in the U.S. and Britain.
In 1999, Basson was brought to trial.
All right, we're going to conclude the video now, but I think it was very good that y'all seen this video. This is very eye-opening. Mr. Patosh, or Patash, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a very good documentary, man. It's like one of the best I've ever seen about the destruction of the black community. And who did it? Exactly what organizations did it? CIA and FBI. So, I don't know. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep spreading the Wabu, still trying to unite. You know, only those who want to unite. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna be out there like the Black Panthers. I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be out there though. I'm gonna be out there. That's for sure. But there's too many goddamn black sellouts and too many black snitches. And at this point, after watching this, I really don't trust niggas. I don't trust blacks. At this point, not enough cultural knowledge and just not enough knowledge itself for me to trust you. Right? This is horrible, man. And this ain't just Tupac. This is Khalil Muhammad, who the NOI turned their back on him because he was too dark skinned. You know. This is those who turned against Dr. York, his sister, and his family. Kedar Massenberg, Wakia, and all them talking about praying Dr. York would be out. You done lost your goddamn mind? Ain't nobody gonna pray for somebody that is gonna magically walk out, fool. Like we some children. Goddamn fools. I don't give a damn how many books you read. That shit ain't never gonna work. But I hear that Williams is on, new attorneys is on Dr. York's case, so hopefully, you know, that these evil Sabians get Dr. York out. You know, Dr. York needs to be free. All right. And on that note, we'll conclude the broadcast. Wadu.
So sitting next to you, or sitting behind you or front, so sitting next to you, you might be sitting next to Black Devil.
It states in Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have sent ye a God, and all of you are children of the Most High.
This is the Elder Raziel with a message for the children of the Elohim. I walked a long journey on the short path where after this mind expands, math itself came through with the master teacher. Get wealth from what I have to teach you. Not a preacher, the Anunnaki created this creature, fully packed with features. Nuwabu knocking off leeches. Peace to Malachi, Ziyor, Noble Jew Ali, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Respect and pay homage from the Nuwabian tribe. We hope to see you. We still kicking the flows. All the girls know. Just list the show so your mind grows toward a genetic explosion. X out whoever was chosen by deception to sell out Negro, the greatest destruction. Without question, knowledge is a weapon. Like Cain, ain't no half-stepping to a greater direction.
Personal shit. Hard to play, family man. Hard to play. When you don't even know where the family stand. Too many egos, too many voices that ain't reaching out to people. I'm at 64. I mean real blood. Pops ain't home, but if he still was, minus the allegations. I wish I knew if it was really true or fabrication. Some of your kids think you did it, got me looking at you strange. Like would they be the same if they ain't grow with the pain? I mean 200 kids you couldn't find the time for. Do you regret not making time for us? Still screaming free you. Unanswered questions got me wanting to go see you. I'm sure you was dealing with pressure just trying to be you. Heard your own son ratted on you to them people. That's nasty. Even if you did it, the thought would've never passed me. That's if you asked me. Everybody out for self. Quicker to go to friends before I ask family for help. I'm tired of people asking me why Jacob don't help. I don't know. Damn. It feel like we drowning in quicksand. They throw more salt, I'm thinking they reaching for my hands. 500 acres, Egyptian theme on the land. Way too much power and to be a black man.
I'm talking to the Anunnaki. You feel with me? I'm talking with Inky. Murdoch. You know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with Inky because I know who Inky is. I know who Inky's family is. I know who Imel is, and I know who Anu is. And I know when the Holy Tablets was coming, I know who was there and what it was talking to. Right. And behind the face of Anu, there was a force that goes back further than that, 9 dimensions. But everything was not for the mortal ear at the time. Right. That's why in Christianity they use the word faith. You know, or in Islam they use the word mu'min or iman, faith. But when it comes down to with Nuwabian, you say, listen, Nuwabian, let me teach you about Anu and Inky. They want me to make God manifest for us, so we will believe. That sounds very familiar, right? Yeah.